¿Ven ustedes que muchas de estas farmacéuticas son multadas de manera multimillonaria? Aquí pueden ver las más sancionadas. Seguro que les suenan esas dos que están ocupando el podio, Pfizer y Johnson & Johnson. Cada día nos despertamos con sus nombres en los titulares por sus descubrimientos con el COVID-19, pero lo cierto es que ambas acumulan un buen número de actividades ilegales. En el año 2009, Pfizer fue multada con 2.300 millones de dólares. Esto es una de las mayores multas en la historia de Estados Unidos. Pero, ¿por qué multan a estas farmacéuticas como Pfizer? Comercio ilegal, soborno, ocultación de información son algunas de las causas principales. Por ejemplo, vean esta noticia. Pfizer dejó 11 niños fallecidos y decenas de discapacitados en Nigeria debido a un ensayo clínico que, según el país nigeriano, carecía de consentimiento. Ahora sus vacunas frente al COVID están a la orden del día y junto con el resto de farmacéuticas luchan por ofrecer el mejor antídoto contra la enfermedad y también, Javier María, lo más importante también para enriquecerse aún más si cabe.
Solo llegarán a este tipo de vida las personas que sobrevivan, no una ni dos, sino más de 3 y 4 plagas diferentes diseñadas en laboratorios para dejarle el agua a unos pocos.
Et finalement, dans la destruction biologique, il n'y a plus que les tempêtes organisées par les champs électromagnétiques, il y a également la pollution que nous mettrons dans le sang et dans les veines de l'humanité en créant des infections, et ensuite de ça, ayant créé ces infections volontairement, on créera des lois qui obligera la population à se faire donner des vaccins, et dans ces vaccins, il y aura tout ce qu'il faut pour que vous puissiez être contrôlé. On introduira dans ces vaccins des cristaux liquides. Ces cristaux se logeront dans les cellules de votre cerveau et ils deviendront des micro-récepteurs à des champs électromagnétiques envoyés par des ondes d'ultrasoniques à très très basse fréquence. Et avec ces ondes à très basse fréquence, on pourra vous empêcher de penser. On pourra faire de vous des zombies. Et n'allez pas croire que je suis au stage où je pense ou que c'est de l'hypothèse. Ce que je vous compte, c'est fait. Souvenez-vous du Rwanda.
Al parecer, el mismo proceso para modificar genéticamente las frutas y las plantas es el mismo proceso que se usará en los humanos.
Empecemos por un controvertido estudio médico en China sobre técnicas de edición de genes. El objetivo final es poder modificar genéticamente a los humanos a gran escala. Wang publicó una serie de fotos del discurso de Wang Xiang. Entre estas se muestran oraciones como edición de genes y modificación de embriones, y los caracteres chinos que aparecen en la foto revelan el objetivo de la práctica, crear genéticamente un humano perfecto.
Charter City is stunned by the sudden rollout of Rook Unlimited's most fantastic device ever. The Smart Mark. Book your travel, even shoot video.
23% of the population has been given the smart mark, number 1.
Time to test our system, number 6.
We should find the Flex Fighters.
El ser humano se ha reemplazado por una mente artificial diseñada en otro universo que hemos dejado entrar en la guerra.
own words, the PCR test should never be used to diagnose disease. Let me repeat that. The man who created the PCR test said this test should never be used to diagnose disease.
Guys like Fauci get up there and start talking, he doesn't know anything really about anything, and I'd say that to his face. Nothing. The man thinks you can take a blood sample and stick it in an electron microscope, and if it's got a virus in there, you'll know it. He doesn't understand electron microscopy, and he doesn't understand medicine, and he should not be in a position like he's in. Most of those guys up there on the top are just total administrative people, and they don't know anything about what's going on at the bottom. Those guys have got an agenda, which is not what we would like them to have, being that we pay for them to take care of our health in some way. You can't expect the sheep to really respect the best and the brightest. They don't know the difference, really. I mean, I like humans, don't get me wrong, but basically the vast majority of them do not possess the ability to judge who is and who isn't a really good scientist. I mean, that's a problem. That's a main problem, actually, with science, I'd say, in this century, because science is being judged by people. Funding is being done by people who don't understand it. Who do we trust? Fauci? Fauci doesn't know enough to, if Fauci wants to get on television with somebody who knows a little bit about this stuff and debate him, he could easily do it because he's been asked.
My name is Robert Malone. I'm a physician and a scientist, but more importantly, I'm a father and a grandfather. I stand by this statement with a career dedicated to vaccine research and development. I'm vaccinated for COVID, and I'm generally pro-vaccination. I've devoted my entire career to developing safe and effective ways to prevent and treat infectious diseases. Before you inject your child, a decision that is irreversible, I wanted to let you know the scientific facts about this genetic vaccine, which is based on the RNA vaccine technology I created. There are three main issues that parents need to understand before they take this irrevocable decision. The first is that a viral gene will be injected into your parent's cells. This gene forces your child's body to make toxic spike proteins. These proteins often cause permanent damage in children's critical organs. These organs include their brain and nervous system, their heart and blood vessels, including blood clots, their reproductive system, and most importantly, this vaccine can trigger fundamental changes to their immune system. The most alarming point about this is that once these damages have occurred, they are irreparable. The second thing you need to know is about the fact that this novel technology has not been adequately tested. We need at least 5 years of testing and research before we can really understand the risks associated with this new technology. The reason they're giving you to vaccinate your child is a lie. Your children represent no danger to their parents or grandparents. There's no benefit for your children or your family to be vaccinating your children against the small risks of the virus.
El programa es que un experto en vacunación está diciendo que las células usadas para la vacuna se habrían extraído de bebés vivos.
En la parte de estudios utilizaron un tipo de células que son las HEK, que son células traídas del riñón de un bebé abortado en los años 70, en Holanda concretamente, y la bióloga Pamela Acker, que estuvo trabajando 9 meses en uno de estos laboratorios, lo que comenta es que ese número 293 es el número de ensayos que fueron necesarios para poder validar esa línea celular, que no sirven células muertas, tiene que ser un bebé que haya sido abortado y esté vivo en el momento del aborto.
No longer a theory. What I'm about to say is fact. The secret organizations of the world power elite are no longer secret. They have planned and are now leading us into a one-world communist government. This is terrorism of the most worst kind, brought on you by our own government.
COVID no es el nombre de la enfermedad. COVID-19 es el nombre del programa de despoblación mundial.
Porque el objetivo final, digamos, de alguna forma, entre reducir la población mundial, el número muchísimo más manejable para la élite mundial debido a la falta de comida y de agua. El objetivo es el concepto de empresa mundial S.A. potencias o poderes fácticos financieros con muchísimo más poder que cualquier gobierno en la Tierra. Obviamente Bilderberg, que es la potencia financiera y económica, necesita hacerse con el control de toda la alimentación, y para hacerse con el control de la alimentación necesitan, uno, destrozar la economía mundial a propósito para poder reducir la población. Las guerras del futuro se libran no con armas, sino con tecnología del futuro. Es decir, si tú puedes hacerse con el control de tecnología, puedes controlar el mundo entero en todas sus manifestaciones, porque todo lo que nos rodea es tecnología en su estado puro, y por eso empresas como Google no es una empresa cualquiera, es un aparato imprescindible de la seguridad nacional de los Estados Unidos, cuyo objetivo no tiene nada que ver con ofrecer servicios, sino con el control total y absoluto, porque la palabra Google o Google, la palabra en sí significa 1 a la potencia de 100, es decir, un número infinito. Infinidad significa control.
Governments have to reorganize themselves as platforms, and that's probably the vision of a modern government, whereas the government provides certain apps, certain services, but engages its citizens. We have to embrace this change with passion. I know change creates different feelings in different people. Feelings of fear, sometimes feelings of resistance. This new technological revolution, it can provide the entry card for humanity into a new civilization.
it's fascinating what's happening in this field right now. I mean, FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that. So it is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet, and once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
Jurnalistul spune că Ursula a fost mituită și șantajată pentru a cumpăra vaccinuri de la Pfizer. În primul rând, o dovadă este faptul că soțul ei, Heiko von der Leyen, a fost propulsat în Consiliul de Conducere al companiei americane Orgenesis, înrudită cu Pfizer. Heiko a primit o mărire de salariu de 1,2 milioane de dolari pe an, asta fără comisioane. Legătura Pfizer, Orgenesis și New York Times o reprezintă compania americană Vanguard, care e acționar cu 3,77% la Orgenesis, 7,78% la Pfizer și 9,25% la New York Times. Că această companie, Orgenesis, s-a ocupat de testarea clinică pentru Pfizer, având capacități de producere în Germania. Știm că negocierile între Pfizer și Comisia Europeană au fost total netransparente. Ursula și șeful Pfizer, Albert Bourla, au bătut palma pentru 2,4 miliarde de doze, adică 48 de miliarde de dolari. Știm că Ursula și-a șters datele din telefon, iar SMS-urile scurte nu s-au stocat nici măcar în baza de date oficială a Comisiei Europene. Mai știm că valoarea comisioanelor de performanță, așa cum numesc băieții șmecheri Mita, poate depăși 700 de milioane de dolari. Știm că contractele de procurare a vaccinurilor sunt cenzurate. Capitole întregi sunt hașurate cu negru. Aceasta este imaginea unei afaceri făcute pe sănătatea oamenilor, însă nedescoperită până la capăt.
The pandemic has shown the limitations of some of our old ways of working.
Vacunarse con vacunas autorizadas por las autoridades competentes es un acto de amor y ayudar a que la mayoría de la gente lo haga es un acto de amor.
Y ahí tenemos el primero, ¿no? El segundo más o menos la tiene puesta. Ese ya va con la máscara bajada totalmente. Venga, sin máscara. Este tampoco lleva la máscara. Tampoco llevo máscara, la llevo en la mano, lo normal. Venga, un beso, ¿no?
La autosanación sale de decirle a este mundo que podemos hacer algo que no tiene que ver con dinero, con cosas, con tierra. Tiene que ver con una liberación de la mente. Eso es la autosanación.
Experimental injections facilitate the digital handcuffs forever.
No hay un virus asesino, hay un instrumento de dominación.
Il est temps de devenir humain.
La verdad nos hará libres.
La vida, la naturaleza y la realidad están de nuestra parte, por eso vamos a vencer.
Arrêtons le massacre.
Estamos en una guerra espiritual y el espíritu humano la va a ganar.
You're more powerful than you realize.
It's very simple, Pete, right? You just have to look at Africa. They didn't have the death rates from COVID that were predicted. And what is happening over time is that the entire response to COVID and everything that we were told about it from the beginning is being exposed and it's falling apart. The lies are coming apart. And really now there's no justification for putting people out of their jobs or forcing vaccine mandates for a disease that ultimately is very treatable. It's cheap to treat. Medicines are available all over the world, and it has death rates that compare very much to seasonal flu.
Carga viral de los vacunados es la misma que la de una persona no vacunada, es decir, tiene la misma capacidad de transmisión, tanto si estás vacunado como si no.
Las personas vacunadas, por tanto, pueden contagiar lo mismo que las...
El mismo Ministerio de Salud dice en su boletín oficial que no tienen aislamiento de virus SARS-CoV-2. Entonces, ¿contra qué están inoculando a la población?
No entiendo la pregunta.
Yo tampoco, por eso.
La verdad que no queda claro qué está diciendo.
El gobierno negoció con Pfizer un pago de $12 por cada dosis y con AstraZeneca un pago de 6. Los contratos suscritos entre la Unidad de Gestión del Riesgo, las farmacéuticas y la FIDU Previsora advierten que Colombia asume integralmente los riesgos en esta compra y renuncia a cualquier reclamo jurídico ante incumplimientos. El contrato con Pfizer establece que el producto podría no tener éxito y que bajo ninguna circunstancia se harán responsables de sanciones por demoras en la entrega. El de AstraZeneca establece, entre otros, que el comprador los mantendrá indemnes contra los costos legales por fallecimiento, daño físico, mental o emocional, enfermedad o incapacidad.
My name is Christine Anderson. I'm a member of European Parliament, and I'm answering your SOS call. I will do whatever I can to make it known to the world that your once free and liberal democracy has been transformed into a totalitarian regime, which tramples on human rights, civil liberties, and the rule of law. At no point in history have the people forcing others into compliance been the good guys. The welfare of humanity has always been the alibi of tyrants. Do you not realize that this vaccine does not protect you from COVID? It does, however, protect you from governmental oppression. But don't think for even a second that this is not going to change tomorrow. You need to understand, it isn't about breaking the fourth wave. It is all about breaking people. We need to stop our governments from transforming our free and democratic societies into totalitarian regimes.
I'm talking about the real owners now. The big, the wealthy, the real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. And by the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care.
La autosanación sale de decirle a este mundo que podemos hacer algo que no tiene que ver con dinero, con cosas, con tierra. Tiene que ver con una liberación de la mente. Eso es la autosanación.
Jerry Mander, I live in San Francisco. I'm the president of the International Forum on Globalization. Well, the first thing to say about the media is that the degree of impact of the media is much more serious than people generally recognize.
There may and likely will come a time in which we have both an airborne disease that is deadly. And in order for us to deal with that effectively, we have to put in place an infrastructure, not just here at home, but globally, that allows us to see it quickly so that if and when a new strain of flu, like the Spanish flu, crops up 5 years from now or a decade from now, we've made the investment and we're further along to be able to catch it.
7 corporations control 70% of global media.
This is a world pandemic. It's a 1 in 100 year event. So you can expect that we will have transmission from time to time, and that's just the way it is. We've got to accept that this is the new world order.
Now the 7 corporations are Fox News, Time Warner, Disney, Sony, Bertelsmann, Viacom, and General Electric. Those 7 corporations, all of whom know each other, are all controlling everything, or a gigantic percentage of what people receive and learn about. A very serious problem.
So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had, and everything will be normal again in how we are used to normal, in the old fashion. This is, let's say, fiction. It will not happen.
7 corporations control television, satellite, broadcast systems, cable systems, magazines, radios, newspapers, book publishing, film production, internet connections, film distribution, all media.
This will be the new normal until a vaccine is developed.
Until we find a vaccine, going back to normal means putting lives at risk.
We need to produce it and to deploy it in every single corner of the world.
Full vaccination
of our children and pregnant women.
This is the highest degree of concentration of ownership of any industry. And it's an industry that's not dealing with things, it's dealing with consciousness, it's dealing with putting things into people's heads.
Women.
Development of new vaccines, therapeutics and diagnostics.
More effective vaccines and therapeutics are developed.
That is how people get many more of the ideas and worldviews that they carry around, whether it's about how to live their lives or what fashions to wear or what to eat and what values to have with food, or what makes sense in order for them to live their lives.
A vaccine on its own will not end the pandemic. Surveillance will need to continue. People will still need to be tested, isolated, and cared for. Contacts will still need to be traced and quarantined. Communities will still need to be engaged.
30,000 repetitions of exactly the same message, which is to say, do this, do that, go buy something, this will make your life better, you'll feel better, you'll do better, and so on. And using very, very powerful interventions technologically in order to achieve that.